trying to kill myself. Trying to start it. %, cellular. Why isn't it finding my mob link? Actually, I think there might be a faster way to do this. We'll see. Not much to see. Actually, let's go this way because there won't be traffic here. I just need to do a quick lap. Yeah. Trying to get MobLink to work. Stop. Hey, Pixel. Why is this car not have their lights on? They should have lights on. What the hell? Yeah, it's not picking up. It's not picking up my MobLink. Oh, you know why? I think it needs to be on the same Wi-Fi. So I think MobLink is a no-go. Yeah, I forgot MobLink doesn't work. Yeah, we have snow. I don't think MobLink works unless you're on the same Wi-Fi network. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. And you can't be on the same Wi-Fi network if you don't have an internet point of presence or something like that. I'm not doing that. So it would work if I had a Starlink though. Hey, hi. Well, good morning. Gotta keep the pace up though, because I didn't wear a very good jacket. Or my NanoAir, my Air Pup or whatever it's called. Here, I can show you guys. Wait, what? So I got my NanoAir on, which I really love. It's great, but it's designed for endurance sports outside in the winter. It's like wearing a big hug, though. It is. It's like wearing this big hug. It is. It's like, the NanoAir. You guys know the NanoAir, right? Am I saying that right? No. The Nano Pup. The Nano Pup is the stuff that everybody sees, like the puppy jacket's got the nylon finish on the outside. I don't like those things. They're actually pretty cold. They're pretty cold. Because they have that slick finish, so it doesn't store warm air as much. And this is just it's like wearing a big pillow. The pupper is better at blocking wind. It's the only advantage I've noticed. I did a bunch of testing like 3 years ago. Some of you might remember. I actually tested this exact jacket by soaking it through and seeing if I could get warm again when I went to that construction zone there. I don't remember any of that. The thing that I love about this, they are not daunted by the weather at all. They're like totally just doing a thing. They're out there partying in the snow, cutting up lumber. I mean, that's badass. That's badass to me. I like a newfound appreciation for just people who have actual jobs, like jobs where you have to go outside and freeze your ass off and work hard. And I mean, they do this every day. It's not like they could say, hey, I want to do a live stream and go walk outside in the beautiful, snowy, frosty land, They are there every fucking day. Super big appreciation for that. God, look at the frost on these. Rob, how you doing? What's up? I got you in my ears, y'all. Y'all are in my ears today. Hey, Chris, Mr. Loki. So yeah, I think a pupper is, you know, like they're good. They have down puppers though that are probably warmer than my Patagonia pupper. This is just a little track in the area. It's actually surprisingly not slippery. God, it's beautiful though, right? I'm glad we got out here. It's like all frosted. Everything's freshly frosted. Can you see that? Maybe that is let me give you a one by. How about that? God, look at the detail. I have missed this so much. Look at those crystals, man. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those snow crystals. This only happens when it gets really foggy. Yeah, we need it, right? The West. When it gets really, really, like, this is actually something I totally forgot about with Utah. When Utah gets overcast like this and it gets these inversions, and it gets super foggy, it just like crystallizes everything. Like these beautiful crystals form on everything. Isn't that great? Oh, I can just cannot show you that enough. I think it's so gorgeous. I've missed it so much. It's just so spectacularly beautiful. It just takes this desolate landscape and turns it into this Jack Frost wonderland. I really missed Utah, I'm not gonna lie. There's birds out there. There's the geese here too, so they haven't left. It's been too warm. You guys let me know if you can't see anything right. Like if we lose signal or something. I haven't checked this place for signal at all. There's some birds over there. Yeah, we're in suburbia. Definitely a different landscape, right? Hey, how you doing? Well, you're in Arizona, so. Hey, yeah, how you doing? Good morning. I'm like really enjoying this beauty. Look at this. Look at how pretty those crystals are. I just cannot get enough of that. I don't know what Silent Hill is. Are you guys associating reality with the game again? I love how everyone's point of reference is their favorite game. Instead of like their favorite game reminding them of their favorite area to go outside. Yeah. I just think it's funny because I'm the same way. I'll come out here and I was just, honestly, I kept myself from saying it, but I was just going to say, let's go up in this observation tower. I was just going to say, it's like when you go to a different biome in World of Warcraft. Except it's real. I almost said that. What is wrong with us as humanity? Our points of reference are video games instead of reality being the reference and video games reminding us of reality. Something's backwards there. Look at that. Even this is like all frosted up. I'm playing a virtual reality game. I mean, the first time people started saying, yeah, we're in a simulation, it took, the gamer generation to actually start saying shit like that. I'm just laughing. Exactly. The TV has higher definition. See, a Futurama reference. Yeah, I've never seen it. I mean, I've maybe seen one episode. Yeah, exactly. This is identical to Skyrim right now. If you set Skyrim, if you took Skyrim and then made it into a modern setting, I'm surprised how unslippery everything is. This is the thing about Utah. Utah is really dry. Hey, Kipton, how you doing? Yeah, Utah is really, really super dry. So when it gets cold, that's what gives us the great Rockies powder. Pixel will tell you all about that. Pixel knows about that. So, I'll put my phone away for a second. I love this butt pack. It's cool to wear your butt pack on your front now. Oh yeah, powder. But Utah is very lucky. We get lake effect powder up in the Rockies if you can pay the $200 for a day pass, which, I don't know. I'm wearing my Sorels. I've had these boots since, I bought them in college in 1993. So that would make them, how many years? 30 years old? 40? Do the math, Rob. 30 years old. I'm not kidding. I've had these Sorels for 30 years. And they have been sitting in storage in North Carolina for the most part. God, look at this tree. Look at this tree, man. Can you see that detail? I hope you can. It is so gorgeous. So frosted. This is where I would camp. I would camp under here if I was gonna. I actually am tempted to do some winter camping. I have all the gear for it. I have everything to go winter camping, and it hasn't been really snowy. I could even camp on the snow if I wanted. I have the tarps and everything. What's this down here? There's like birds still. They do not even care. No, I work. I'm just going for a little riot walk. I'm trying to do more short streams. I'm trying to get back into streaming, but have it not impact the rest of my life. Trying is the operative word. I am in Logan, Utah. You can look it up, Logan. Aren't those gorgeous? I mean, I went outside, I have got to stream this. This is so gorgeous. It's just so pretty here. Absolutely love it. Work has been really busy. How's work been for everybody else? How's your work been, guys? It's such a different biome, though, right? It's like we're on a different planet from North Carolina. I wonder if the water down there is actually frozen. Yeah, there's no humidity. Oh, you are? Reorg? Oh boy. I sometimes wonder if we're going to go through one, but I don't think we will. Oh, really? I am in suburbia, so for Moblin, this is just all going through a single phone. I don't have any fancy modems or anything. Just walking in my neighborhood. There's a little wilderness area. A treed city for generations to come. Oh, we're in Nibley now. I met lots of new friends here. Yep. A friend is a generous term. I consider a friend somebody that I could invite over to eat dinner. Or change their tire for them or something. So I don't have any of those yet. I have people. I thought I heard running water. I met a lot of people here that are really amazing. I really love people. Family's all good. I'm sworn off talking personally about pretty much anyone. So that's all I really need to know. Unless they're on the live stream, I'm not going to talk about them. And it's actually really important because, stuff is happening in their lives that I'm sure they would want to keep private. But you can just know that they're good. Also keep in mind I'm streaming this to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And my manager and the people on my team that I work with recently discovered that I live stream again. Good places to eat. My favorite place to eat is home right now. So this new phase of streaming will be one where I just talk about myself, and that's pretty much it. Mostly just about what we're looking at. I don't think anybody would disagree that I made a big mistake the last phase of streaming by being a little bit too personal. I do love my new apartment. Yeah. Everyone's really happy and good. A lot has changed, though. Yeah, that's all. Kind of like a marshland here, apparently. A lot of wildlife here. It's one of the reasons I wanted to live stream, because around this time I'll be doing a half an hour to 40-minute live stream every day, starting February 1st, but maybe tomorrow. So I've set as a goal for February to add cycling back to my training. Really mellow, zone 2, I can talk the whole time, kind of cardio. So I've been fixing my apartment and my room to have a streaming station again. That kind of stuff, I'm already doing it. Figured it'd be a good time to do a little fun live streaming. Kind of in the original goal of the IRL streaming was always to answer questions for people about technology and stuff. So it's just a way to do two things at once. So I'm gonna, today I just decided to go for a walk because it was so pretty. And then, go back and make some breakfast. I haven't decided how much of my apartment to stream, but I'm probably just not going to do it. I'll stream from my room. But I'm cooking and stuff like that. I'm not going to stream that because there's, still people living with me. I won't say who. So, yeah, I think streaming from the general house is never happening again. Never say never, but yeah, ice storms in North Carolina and Oregon are slightly different. However, the Oregon has had one recently. They will completely cover. I remember trying to get a Christmas tree, and they will like cover it with like a millimeter or two of like absolutely transparent ice. This is another thing I really like about here. See that? Some brave soul and their dog went on a walk. They drove here. They actually drove here to go for a walk. Hey, yeah, I've been really well, actually. Been remarkably well. In fact, спасибо. I have not locked myself out, no. Yeah, I'm in Utah. North Carolina has gotten really pounded with snow and ice. My manager, she has chickens, and she had to bring her chickens into her bathroom. To her words, it's just like a scene from Dexter in there. No, this is just me walking around. Native pollinator bee habitat. That's cool. Firefly Park. Yeah, look, they have a little outdoor. I didn't see that before. It's kind of nice. One of the really great things about Utah is how dedicated the entire state is at every level, no matter what the politics, to outdoor education. You will find, like, for example, one of the reasons I want to start cycling again is because I'm definitely going to do a trip to Salt Lake from here, a bike. I'm going to bike from Logan to Salt Lake City. You can look it up on the map, a little bit over 100 miles. And I'm definitely going to do that this summer, or probably spring. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go in the gravel backcountry or if I'm going to do it as... I probably shouldn't, because it'll take quite a bit longer to do that. I'll probably take they have a big dedicated path from Ogden, Utah to Salt Lake City. It's like 80 miles or something. Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta go back and start meeting up myself. Work is great. I'm actually writing a lot of Perl code. We were modernizing some pieces of our Perl. It's not a secret to tell you this. We're integrating something called Slurm. If you've heard of it. I'm not moving to southern Utah. I will probably live in southern Utah for probably 2 weeks. Recently I wrote in my journal. I've been spending a lot of writing in my journal. You use Slurm all the time? Nice. I'm going to be doing some Slurm live streams. We're going to be setting up Slurm and integrating it with Kubernetes. I may be doing some Go programming to simulate the API that we wrote for the company I work for. Yeah, it is a stable. It's an HPC stable. That's why we're kind of... Hey, Het, what do you think of Unicorn? Right now we're in kind of a race against another team who's trying to replace our old PBS system with Unicorn, and we're replacing it with Slurm. I know without a shadow of a doubt that Slurm is the better pick, but yeah. So we're going with Slurm. Slurm is the tried and true It's actually owned by NVIDIA now. When NVIDIA invests in a company, you use PBS Pro. Yeah, we're getting off PBS Pro actually. That's not a secret. We're migrating off. They created an entire system that job submission system that runs on top of PBS Pro. And actually, some of the original authors of PBS work for the company I work for. Yep. Yeah. Yep, it's really fun. So Slurm is a thing. Thank you for the info there. And I have got to get really, really good with it. We have an abstraction layer that runs on top of all the commands that integrate with PBS. And those commands, we're injecting code into those commands to basically switch and submit to Slurm instead of PBS, depending on some criteria, which are, I wouldn't consider that intellectual property. I'm not going to talk about that because our integration, we've created a system where you can submit a job to PBS or Slurm at the same time using our legacy systems while changing a thing. So that method of switching back and forth to be able to send the same job using all the same processes and API endpoints and everything, and have it go to Slurm instead of that is definitely proprietary to us. So I can't talk about that. But that's the code that I'm helping with. My senior line manager wrote it, and I'm cleaning it up with them and putting it in Git, helping them learn how to do the PR process in Git, because they wrote all that original Perl code, over 50,000 lines of it, without AI, but they haven't really learned Git yet. Hey, how are you? Good morning. It's kind of funny because my senior manager is 5 years younger than me. Yeah, but he wrote all this Perl code, so I definitely have the most Perl experience on the team besides him. Just not the most recent Perl experience. I'm actually doing one of those things where you cross teams. You know, you ever have this? Where you get pulled into work on something that's technically not your main team. It's like kind of adjacent to your team. So we had to tweak the Jira tickets. Hey Dima, how you doing? Oh yeah, I got little powder grains falling in my beer right now. Yeah, I'm gonna get frosted. So our little walk is coming to an end. Probably have another 10 minutes. Morning streams will be about 40 minutes. So it'll either be me walking around, hiking or something, or on Zwift. And then it's just going to be me talking. This suburb reminds me a lot of the suburb as a kid. I grew up in a suburb where I was the first house in a subdivision, entire subdivision. It just reminds me, we used to run through the construction, of the houses. Hey, how are you? I'm good. I mean, I don't think I have what it takes to be a construction worker. And I wish I did. Construction workers are badass, man. They are tough as nails. They don't just go out and camp in their cozy tents and stuff with a campfire. They come out in conditions like this every day and, make it happen. I mean, it just blows my mind. On the whole, I kind of feel like humanity's gotten kind of wimpy. And I appreciate that. Midnight Simon. I mean, I can. I'm not going to raid. I really don't care about raiding. I'm sorry. It just takes too much energy. So, especially, I would raid people if my mods could do the raid, but I have no intention of like making this hard. Yeah, there's a couple places that are still open. Yeah, it is a little crazy how fast this is all going up though, because we're at the border. I can make mods editors. I'll have to do that, Dima. Good to see you. HBC, what is that? They have HBC stuff. I'm not going to tell you where I live. I don't live in the subdivision, but so I could live in the subdivision if I wanted to. I will tell you this, I live in an apartment. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have a... Oh, I love it here. I liked NC too. I have more family here. I have made more acquaintances who could potentially become long-term friends here since October than I made the entire time I was in North Carolina, which was 2007 on, 20-something years. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. I'm just out for a walk. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's crazy. I do like to snow ski and ice skate, but I have not had time for either. Check this out. Look at this big ass bike lane. And not just that, a bike lane with a fucking concrete barrier. Pardon my French. I told myself I wasn't going to swear that much. I always tell myself that. So yeah, let's go down to the first turn here. Yeah. This goes all the way to the reservoir in Hiram. If you look at the map, I'm not doing IRL mapping either. I may turn on IRL mapping when I start doing like serious bike trips, like to Salt Lake and stuff. But other than that, I'm generally not gonna turn it on. I still have that overlay I made. Utah has bike lanes everywhere, man. It's insane how well they have. I'm telling you, they have a dedicated bike path that is like almost 100 miles. It goes from Ogden, Utah. It's called what's it called? It's called the Legacy Bicycle Path, I think it is. And I'm on the Division of Motor Vehicles or something website, or that, I can't remember where. But I keep getting these notifications about all these trails that they're connecting in Utah. So from Logan, Utah to Moab, Utah, there's one continuous gravel trail that is already on. It's already working. Yeah, they, you know, if you go to in North Carolina, it's kind of hit or miss, right? The problem with North Carolina is how much political disagreement there is between local regions. So, rock on the side is definitely weird. Yeah, that's just because they didn't want to put grass or whatever here. Which, it's a desert. That would cost lots of money and stuff. So, it's kind of pretty, suburb. Suburbs used to trigger me because it reminded me of things from my past. They don't trigger me anymore. This is a very average American suburb. If you're international, yeah, they could have just put a sidewalk here instead of like this thing with trees, right? And let's hope these trees, when they grow up, they don't like drop seeds or something. That's gonna ruin the lane. God, look at how pretty that is, though. That's like a legit Christmas tree right there. So cool. But yeah, if you're not from America, this is a typical American suburb. I swear to God. It's not humid, it just has lots of fog. Today we had a really, really high inversion fog. It's actually burning off now. Last night you couldn't see. People were driving 10 miles an hour because you couldn't see anything. So what happens is, this happens in Salt Lake too, because we're in these valleys. We're in these beautiful valleys, right? And so we get these really strong inversions, and then it basically just covers the valley with fog. And if you are lucky enough to get up on a mountain peak during this time, it's one of the most amazing sights. God, I remember skiing Alta or Solitude and getting up to the top of the lift and looking down over Salt Lake Valley, and it was just this ocean of fog. There's like these peaks sticking up. It's so freaking beautiful. If you could see a picture of it, it would be these peaks of mountains like islands, and then it was just clouds, cloud. It's actually really bad. It's bad for asthma people, stuff like that. Yeah. So you have to be careful. Look, the grass frosts up like that. It's still green though, because we haven't had any like real snowpack. It keeps melting. But yeah, and then so when it gets like this, there's lots of moisture in the air, but you saw it's 0% humidity right now. So any little tiny moisture that enters the air from the tree or something, condensation, gets immediately frozen. In fact, do you guys know what sublimation is? So sublimation is when ice skips the liquid phase and goes straight to gas. So water becomes water vapor, and it skips the phase of. There's lots and lots of sublimation in Utah because it's too dry. So it gets dry and cold, and sublimation, you'll see snowpacks, and they'll kind of go down, but they didn't ever really melt. It's just sublimation happening. It's super interesting stuff. Good, gorgeous little. I'm glad I came out today. It's part of my goal to get outside more this year. Even if it's just walking around the suburb casually. Yeah, it is kind of weird, right? But yeah, stuff cracks, concrete, and you know this. But like concrete and streets, they break a lot more. The cold didn't help me either, but today I forced myself out. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm not cold at all now. I wore exactly the perfect clothes. enough to not make me overheat. One of the reasons I want to start going outside even when it's cold is minus 16, damn, that's a totally different thing. But, you know, they always say there's not bad weather, there's only bad clothing. I've heard that. Yeah, we do. We get very drastic changes. I think this is a circle. Kind of exploring here. I'm gonna end up walking much more than I wanted. There's a nice 2-car garage there. Looks like it's got a room on top of it. Does this have a walkthrough? Some of these places, they built walkthroughs for kids going to school and stuff. I don't think it does. Nope, it's just sucks to be you. You walk down a cul-de-sac, now you have to go back. Probably should look at a map or something before I do this next time. This is so standard suburban Utah. Little tiny, modest houses. I mean, contrast this with the mansions in North Carolina, right? These are not cheap homes, but they're not super crazy homes either. This is the kind of neighborhood I grew up in. Exactly like this. Exactly. Modest homes. Lots big, wide streets you could skateboard or sled down. Ride your bike. And we get, you know, I didn't ever get locked outside, but we got told to go outside. Yeah, these aren't 600K here. No. The winters in Logan are pretty good. No, they're not. Not if you're used to them. I'm used to winters in Utah. This last few months I've gotten kind of acclimated to it. Housing prices have gone up, but if I had a house, this would be the kind of neighborhood I would have. That's a perfect example. Okay, see ya. Yeah, oh, like this whole fancy mailbox thing. People build these like little tower fortresses for their mailbox. It's very Utah. It's funny too because that's the same housing style that has existed since I was a kid. Pretty much. It just, so much of Utah feels familiar to me. You know, occasionally I'll run into things that I totally forgot about, and it'll just trigger like tons of memories. Frosted trees is one of those memories. Look at how gorgeous they are. So amazing. What's the most unusual thing? I'm getting snowed on. Snow picked up. Unusual thing that I've discovered since moving here. I'd say the most shocking and surprising thing is how well it seems to me that everybody gets along. There's something, I honestly can't pretend to know why. But I'm just telling you, there's something about this Cache Valley, which is Logan, Preston, Hiram, Providence, Nibley, all these little towns. Definitely colder and flatter than NC. It's not flatter. It's flatter here because you can't see the mountains. I could throw a rock and hit the mountain. In fact, I tested it. I drove up to the crag, to the local rock crag. I could ride my bike there in 10 minutes. At the base of the canyon, you can't see up here, it's called Close to Home, is the crag. If you don't know what a crag is where you go climb. And it has routes. Sometimes they've been bolted, and then you can climb up that. So if you haven't heard, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on being able to climb. Oh God. The mountains are beautiful. They're different. They're desert biome mountains, high desert mountains. They're not, to get alpine, you have to go up a ways. When I cross this, you get to see it ugly. Yeah. The other thing too I've noticed about Utah weather is like when you get wet in the winter, it's not as cold because it's not as much humidity. You know what I mean? So I really like that. You know how they say it's a dry heat versus it's a dry cold? It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I'm going to get out. Give my Roscoe some business. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to stream. That was going to be a nice experiment. I'm going to turn my Starlink back up in the canyon. Yeah, the East Coast has humidity and cold. Same with St. Petersburg and Moscow in Russia. And that kind of cold will bites right through all your clothing. It does. The cold here, you put a couple good layers on and you're good. Even when it gets really, really, really cold. Hey, Bum. Construction guys having fun in there, partying while they put in low voltage electric or whatever. Hey, they have a weather station. Yeah, you can't see it, but right in front of us is a massive mountain range. It's actually the perfect size. It's not massive. It's exactly 5 degrees and raining is way better, especially when it gets cold enough to snow. Snow is fine. Freezing rain is not fine. It's still that will kill you. But Firefly Park. We're going back how we came, I guess. Truth is, I don't want to leave. I knew this would happen. You guys have to keep me honest. I can't stream more than 40 minutes or so. Because I have to work. Work has been way better, by the way. I have a new manager. She's amazing. Has it been 49 minutes already? Damn it. See, I lose track of time when I stream. It happens every time because I'm having so much fun. I mean, this stream was super easy to start too. I just updated Restream, started it on my laptop, and just grabbed the camera and went outside. I didn't take anything fancy, right? My phone bill's only like $170 a month now, compared to like $500. How are you? It's gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, it's been really nice. This is very Utah. If you think I'm weird, just on my camera. She drove here just to take pictures. That is Utah. I'm telling you, that's Utah. She got in her car at early morning, got her fancy photography stuff out, drove to this park just to take pictures of frost crystals. My kind of human being. Exactly. Try to drive specifically to a place just to stream it. Yeah, the fog is breaking, you can see. It's kind of blowing off. Yeah, I do too. I think it's cool. Colorado, for sure. They do a lot of people like that too. So, I've been reading about top rope soloing. I don't think I'm going to do that. It's a way to go to the crag and climb without any help. But you could do it by yourself. It's dangerous if you screw up. So, my number one personal goal right now. My number one goal is to get completely back, like physically. I'm pretty close to that goal. Second goal is to lead climb certify. And I've been doing some streams that are not being saved. I think I'm going to go ahead and let my VODs get saved again and just remove the ones that are not appropriate. For those of you who don't know, I did a couple streams from the climbing gym in order to go back and look at my technique. And that's all well and good, it worked for that, but I don't know, I decided to leave the camera home and focus on just streaming. I met two amazing friends. One of them's a family, and they kind of killed my desire to film myself. They do say filming yourself or videoing yourself is the best way to improve on your climbing, but I'm so new to it. Just putting a bunch of volume in and meeting people is more important. So, bottom line, I'm not taking the camera to the gym. The live stream anyway. if I still take my tripod, so if I am going to do a particular send and I want to capture it for social media or something, then I'll record that one. But most of the climbing I'm doing is pretty boring anyway, because I'm just doing laps, it's called. Maybe just go up and down and practice, get used to it. So why did I tell that story? Because I am working on only streaming when I'm okay with the VOD being available to anybody. My mom and dad, my brothers and sisters, my kids, my work colleagues, anyone. If they were to come across my live stream, there would be nothing that would make them pause and be worried, unlike previous years. So a little bit of an update. What is a habitat hero? Paul Watson, Marguerite Murray, Margaret, Rachel Carson. Always to get involved. Davidson does have stuff like this. Davidson, North Carolina. It definitely has it. Kind of a wetland here. They couldn't really put houses on it because it's a wetland. Still running water though. God, I wish. I've been to the university several times, but not since I came back. Really, there hasn't been a need to. It's a beautiful university though. Yeah, my yoga, I was doing yoga every day, and it really helped me get back in shape. And then I started hurting myself because I was doing too much. So don't be me. I would do yoga every day, including 3 days of really hot power yoga. I mean, hard stuff. And then I started doing 2-a-day yoga. So there's 2 days, that was when I kind of realized I needed to change. I started doing 6 days a week of yoga because they don't have it on Friday. And at the time, Monday and Thursday, I did double classes. So there would be a peak pose. And then there would be, after the peak pose class, they would have another hot yoga class. So it was like 2 hours of yoga. And there was a 75-minute class on Sunday. So I was doing 6 days a week of yoga, with 3 of those days being 75 minutes, or 2 of them 2 hours and 2 of them 7 minutes. And then my hamstring started to go. In fact, one day I was really afraid. I thought I might have snapped a hamstring. And then I was also climbing 3 days a week. Yeah, I know, dumb, right? It doesn't take an engineer to figure out that that's too much. Yeah, this is new. Yeah, I actually stopped my yoga training. And this is public. I've communicated with them and everything. Because, yeah. Oh, teeth are coming in March. In March, they're pulling my roots. I went to the dentist. In March, they're pulling my roots and capping some other teeth. And then it's going to take a month and a half to heal. They're going to give me a bone injection. It takes a month and a half to heal, and after they do that, they can take an impression. So, hey, how are you? We're all good. So on the yoga front, it's actually all of my friends on the yoga show are like, "What happened to Rob?" So Long story short, and then climbing started taking over my psyche. I have been obsessed with with climbing for lots of reasons, but mostly it's just so fun. Climbing is so fun, especially on the Audible in the gym. You can or you do it with your friends. I do it with Gordon. Gordon and I will go there for 3.5 hours and belay each other. And climbing is just so fun. I cannot recommend it enough, my friends. I cannot recommend climbing enough. Find your local gym, see how much their annual membership is, give it a couple tries, see if it's the thing you want to do, and go for it. It's super safe if you're on Audible, especially since there's no humans involved. It's just the Audible. If you didn't do anything but just that, I would still do it. It's crazy fun because it's constantly challenging you. So from the first time that you learn how to use your feet versus, overweight your hands, and you feel yourself sending routes, it's like unlocking, beating new bosses and unlocking new levels. It's like video game. It has so many of the same appeals of a video game. I think that's why it's exploding. I think it's exploding. Bouldering, you're finding bouldering gyms everywhere, and they literally call it projecting, which is there's like a boulder route, which is like at the most 20 feet in the air. A lot of people breaking their ankles bouldering. Be careful on that. I'm not bouldering because I have problems. It does. It has a lot of gamer appeal. You see a lot of Gen Z in the bouldering lab, and they're in there, and it's kind of like. I honest to God, it has, if I didn't know better, it has like 80s video arcade vibes. And this I don't know what that is. But they just opened Momentum. I'll take you guys on a tour of Momentum downtown in Salt Lake. They just opened a new Momentum gym. It doesn't even have rope climbing. I'm a static rope climber. I'm a static top rope sport climber, which I'll talk about at some point. I don't get into bouldering. At some point I might, but not right now. They turned around, yeah. But yeah, in bouldering, but they have a bouldering gym. They just opened in Momentum SLC. Somebody can post a link to it, and it's in Trolley Square, which is this really hip, kind of yuppie place. And they have like a pub in there and a coffee place, and they've got like spinning, but they don't have any top rope, and all of their holds are lit. So they have like these activities where all these young single adults will go there, and like it's kind of like a rave, but but they're climbing on the wall, and it's super social because and again, this is what gives me video game vibes from the 80s. Everybody will like gather around a bouldering project, and they'll all cheer on the person who's doing the climb. And then they're like, oh, okay, let me try it. And then they'll like, it's just like having somebody swap out playing a video game in an arcade, except for they're climbing and they get to, show off and everything, and it's super, the body you get from climbing is really, really good over time, especially because it builds your upper body, and it also builds your legs. You end up getting, that triangle and everything. How they say swimmer body, right? People like swimmer body or whatever. Because it's gymnastics. It's pretty much gymnastics. So, people go to the gym and like, oh, it smells like stinky rubber and it's gross, and you got all these gym bros. But you go to the climbing gym and everybody's just chill and they're supporting each other. And if you're young, you're flirting and meeting new people, and everybody's dedicated to being healthy, and they have this really cool vibe and this, usually this great aesthetic, and it's just awesome. That's all I have to say. It's super addicting. I have always wanted to do it. Since I was 18, I wanted to climb. And in that time, there was no such thing as a climbing gym. Oh God. The gym bros, and you do get gym bros. You get gym bros who are like, they discover bouldering for the first time, and you can tell. There's actually all kinds of memes on the internet about this, videos and TikToks and stuff. because they'll like, the first thing they do is they take their shirt off and then they, try to show. By the way, if you're a bro and you want to impress the ladies, don't do that. They don't like it. They want it to be understated. They don't want you to be like in their face. I'm telling you, just do a search for climbing on YouTube. There are so many climbing videos. There's like climbing culture videos. There are some that are young bouldering people. There's like OG, old school, big wall people who, I lived at the base of Yosemite for 20 years and climbing. It's like, this was so cool. It's just totally pan-generational activity that just links everybody together. It's so freaking cool. You remember how I struggled with like cycling, right? I was like, where are my people? Where are my cycling people? It's not like you just gotta go to a gym and find bike packers. You can show up at your local Peloton group ride, right? And God, you've seen how that went, right? People talking shit about your form and, judging you based on your bike or your clothes. Totally different vibe. And it's not just me who made that observation. You can watch like GCN or any number of cycling videos out there, and they'll tell you about the group ride. Well, yeah, no one would show up to a group ride like that, right? The idea that you have to consider how you show up to a group ride versus how you show up to a climbing gym is totally different. And it is true, when you first go to climb, it's super duper fucking intimidating. My first 2 weeks of climbing, I thought I was never going to do it again. I was so intimidated. I thought everybody was staring at me. Truth is, they're not. They're all worried about themselves. And I was like, oh, I can't be seen on the quote kiddie wall. People will think I suck and blah, blah, blah. And I let all of that go, and then I realized nobody cares. And that you probably will fail like 15 times in a row while you're working on your project, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that, so there's no judgment. The only judgment you'll ever get in a climbing gym is if you violate a safety rule. Like I've had parents come in there with toddlers, kids who could barely walk, and they let their kid run under my climber en belay. No, Gordon completely destroys me when it comes to climbing. Gordon is sending 5'11 pluses and probably will do a 5'12 here very soon. He has really amazing upper body strength, and he's super duper wiry and light and relatively flexible. So it's so crazy. Gordon was made for climbing. He's also smaller. He was made for it. I love watching Gordon climb because he's so freaking good at it. And I've watched, Gordon is my son, you guys, and he's been public, so nothing I'm telling you is violation of his privacy. But the thing that's so great about Gordon is that, he's been fighting his whole life because, to try to keep up with the kids on the soccer team, or nowhere near big enough to play football or hockey or any of those stupid sports. But he's a natural climber. Oh my God, he's so good at it. He's so good. He on-sites like 5'11s, which means he doesn't even need any beta, which is data, information. He just gets out there and just goes. It's so much fun to watch. And then I get to belay him. I haven't seen Gordon in many years because of reasons, and so I get to belay him and watch him climb. It's really fun. Dude, pro climber family, I have run into several families. Gordon hasn't biked with me at all yet, no. And he didn't like yoga. Athena didn't like yoga either. So, but I like yoga. I still do yoga. I do yoga 3 days a week, but I do restorative yoga now. I don't use yoga as a workout at all. I use yoga as a way to relax, calm my mind, which is the purpose of yoga, actually. Chitti Vritti Nirodha, calm the fluctuations of the mind. Yoga Sutra number 1, that's what it's actually for. It's not some excuse to do calisthenics. If you want a hot body, do calisthenics. Don't call it yoga. Just do calisthenics or climb. That's what Krishnamacharya stole calisthenics from the Swiss and the British and added them and called it yoga and said, look at what I discovered. This ancient text that talks about all these awesome poses. It was a total lie. In fact, discovering all of that in a book that was written by a scholar who spent like 5 years researching it really shot down my interest in yoga. Because there's just so it's like almost tantamount to the phone fraud that comes out of India. And I was like, they just fucking lied in order to get favor with the Maharishi and everybody, and they made it all up, and they turned it into Indian culturalism, and they just completely took over the sun salutations. Those are not Indian. They're not. They never were. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little triggered. Absolutely, the snow's different. So I've been climbing. Climbing is not as pretentious. I mean, it is pretentious, but it's more accepting. So that's one of the reasons I'm not doing the yoga training anymore, and I'm hopefully they'll let me use the money for something else. I don't know what, but I was going to do ecstatic dance over there to Bhakti Yoga, which is community. To me, yoga, the main part of yoga is still the same, which is calming your mind, enjoying that beautiful environment and the heat and the art on the walls and the vibe and the music and the Reiki, with the essential oils at the end, all of that is very, very valuable. I still really like that. That's true yoga. When I found out Patanjali is a fake too, it never existed, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. It basically triggered all my lie to you for religious purposes vibe, cautions, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. All right, I gotta go. We'll walk over here, and then I'll go to the clubhouse actually and say goodbye to you guys. Yeah. Anyway, so I still do yoga, but it's just the chill yoga. It's not the workout yoga. And then I go to the climbing gym. Hey, there's the jacuzzi from the outside. We're gonna go into the Tai Chi too. Yeah, Tai Chi, or all of the reason I like Ashtanga is it was Tai Chi with a bigger, more of a kick, right? Oh yeah, were you here for the other hot tub stream? And then I got locked out of the clubhouse. By the way, I want to show you the sign that says they're open 24/7. Because I went in at like 11 o'clock and I got locked out. I had to go walk around. I was cold. It was after climbing one night. And everybody's like, what? It's right there on the wall. I'm like, no, it's not. It's supposed to be open 24/7. I think the answer is this is... I don't think Americans invented climbing. Climbing has been around for a long time. Petzl Mammuts is Swiss, has a Swiss, Eldridge is German. They invented the climbing rope in Germany. Petzl's a French company. Black Diamond's in Utah, actually. 24/7.